Hello and welcome to my channel, Crochet and Copy. My name is Judy. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this dishcloth. We use the Alpine stitch to get the design for our dishcloth. And I think the Alpine stitch is very beautiful. When we're finished, it looks awesome. I'd like to show you another one that I made. It's also with 100% cotton. It's a different brand of yarn. And of course, you can see it's a different color. But it looks awesome. It's so beautiful. I love it. I love it, the Alpine stitch. So that's what we're going to learn in this tutorial. So before we get started, I'd like to share the measurement of our dishcloth. Across is 8 inches. And from top to bottom, 7.5 inches. These are supplies we're going to be using to make our dishcloth. The yarn we're using is from Peaches Creme Original. This is a medium 4, and it's 100% cotton. The color is mint, and it's a worsted weight yarn. And in this ball of yarn, you have 120 yards. We're not going to need all of that to complete our project, but that's the yarn we're using. The hook we're using is the US H8. It's the 5.00 millimeter. I'm going to be using stitch markers. We're also going to be using a yarn needle, and lastly a scissors. And that's it for supplies. Let's get started. Now the first thing we need to do is to attach our yarn to our hook, and we need to use a slip knot stitch to do that. I'll show you how I do my slip knot stitch because I'm comfortable in doing it this way. If you have a different method, you go ahead and use it. So I take the yarn and I drape it over my 2 fingers, and this is the working yarn. I let it fall to the back of my fingers, take my hook, put it between my 2 fingers, and I pull up that loop of yarn, and I have that little knot. All I do is take that knot and I tighten it against my hook, and that's it. That's how you do a slip knot stitch. Now we have to do 25 chain to start row 1 because we're working in rows, and a chain is simply yarn over your hook, pull through, and then yarn over your hook, pull through, yarn over your hook, pull through, yarn over your hook, pull through. And that's it. That's how simple it is to do a chain. We need 25 of them. So go ahead and do 25, and then we meet back up. And this is how I look when I complete doing my 25 chain. And here too, if you want to adjust the size of your dishcloth, say you want to make it into a washcloth, a little larger, or if even you prefer it to be smaller, you have to start your chain off in odd numbers because our chain that we're doing is 25. So make sure your numbers are started with odd numbers. So now to move on with row 1, we're going to put our first stitch will be in the 3rd chain from our hook. So our hook is here. So this is our first chain, 2nd chain, and a 3rd chain here. So we're going to put a double crochet in there. But what I like to do, I like to use those little back, you see these little bumps in here, or people sometimes call them bars back here. I'm going to put my first stitch right there. So I'm going to use the back. You don't have to do that, but I prefer it. So I turn it so I could see the little bumps in the back. And a double crochet is simply you yarn over your hook, you go into that chain, and you're going to pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Now what you need to do is yarn over. We're going to take off those first 2 loops we have on our hook. Pull across the first 2 loops, keep that other loop on your hook. We have 2 more loops on our hook. We want to take them off. You're going to yarn over your hook, and you're going to pull straight across. And that's our first double crochet made for row 1. And here, why I say we use the stitch marker, if you could find it, you don't need it, you don't need to do this part, but I'm going to do it. And for you, whoever is new to crochet, this is an absolute yes. Put it here. So you put it on top of the double crochet we just made, right there, and that's to remind us where our first double crochet we just made. So now all we need to do is to put a double crochet in each of our chain till we get to the end. But let me show you how to do the double crochet again. So remember, double crochet, yarn over your hook, go into that chain, you pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull across the first 2 loops on your hook, yarn over to complete the double crochet, pull straight across 2 of them at the same time. There you go. It's a double crochet. And that's it. So go ahead and do that till you get to the end, and then we meet back up. So this is how I look when I complete row 1. And at the completion of row 1, make sure you have 23 stitches. Now for row 2, what we need to do is we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work. Now the next step for row 2 is that first stitch we have right there, we're going to put a single crochet in it. And the single crochet is, you're just going to go right into that stitch, and you're going to pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and you're going to pull straight across 2 of them at the same time. And that's how you do a single crochet. And here now, I want to mark that as the starting of row 2. So I'm going to put my other stitch marker up there, so I know I started row 2. Now for the remainder of row 2, all you're going to do is did what we just did. Put a single crochet in each of our stitch. And of course, remember, a first stitch marker we put in reminds us that's the end of that row. So I'll show you again how to do the single crochet. Go into that stitch and you pull up a loop of yarn, 2 loops of yarn on your hook, yarn over, and pull straight across 2 of them at the same time. And that's it. That's how you do a single crochet. So now you need to do that till you get again to the blue stitch marker that reminds us that's the end of our row. So this is how I look when I complete row 2, and at the completion of row 2 we have our 23 stitches. Now to start row 3, we need to chain 2. 1, 2, and turn our work. So for that first stitch we have for row 3, we're going to put a double crochet in there. So go ahead and put a double crochet. And of course, I don't want to forget, put my stitch marker back in where I start my row. Now for the next stitch, we're going to do the front post double crochet. And for the post, we're going to use around here, we're going to put our hook here, and the stitch is going to go around here. So you're going to find up here where the single crochet is, and you go down 2 rows, and that will be row 1. So we put our front post double crochet around the double crochets, not the single crochet. So go around the post, first stitch, and then do the regular double crochet. There you go. So now when you look at your work, you think, where do you put your next stitch, right? Because we have this stitch up top in row 2 empty. That's fine because we use it to the bottom of row 1. So the next stitch will be here. And for that stitch, what we're going to do is put a double crochet right there. And this is the pattern that we're going to follow for row 3. So I'll show you again how to do the front post double crochet. So remember, go down to row 1, 2 rows down, and you put that double crochet around the post. First stitch, complete a regular double crochet. So now what you need to do is just follow that pattern, the pattern of a double crochet, front post double crochet, a double crochet, front post double crochet, and then we meet at our last stitch to do. Now I made it to where we have that last stitch to do. So for that last stitch, like how we started for row 3, we put a double crochet. So we're going to end off with a double crochet in our last stitch. So go ahead and do that. Now for row 4, you chain your 1 and you turn your work. And for row 4, all we're going to do is put 1 single crochet in each of our stitch. So go ahead and do that for row 4, and then we meet back up. So I went ahead and completed row 4, and this is how we look. Row 5, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to turn our work. For row 5, the first 2 stitches that we have, all we're going to do is put 1 double crochet in each of them. So go ahead and do that. For row 5, what we need to do is we need to offset our front post double crochet, and then we get the beautiful design of the Alpine stitch method. Now our next stitch will be the front post double crochet we need to do, and we're going to go down, remember, 2 rows down whenever we're doing the front post, and we put it around our double crochet from row 3. So we're going to go around this one. That's the double crochet, remember, from row 3. There you go. So our next stitch is right here. We're going to put a regular double crochet right there. So continue working with that pattern, and when you have 3 stitches remaining to do, stop there and I'll show you what to do next. So now I made it to where I have 3 stitches remaining to work with to complete this row. So we have that double crochet, 2 rows down. We're going to put a front post double crochet around it, and we have 2 more stitches remaining. 1, 2, where stitch marker is at. All you're going to do, just like when we started this row, you're going to put a double crochet in each of them. So go ahead and do that. And by doing that, we complete row 5, and this is how we look for row 5. So now go ahead and complete from row 6 to row 23. I won't show you how to do those rows because it's exactly what we just did here. So you're going to repeat the pattern is from row 2 to 5, but we're going to stop at row 23, and at row 23 that will make you have the pattern for row 3. All right, so go ahead and work your way all the way up to row 23, then we meet back up. This is how we look when we complete row 23. Now the next step, what we need to do, we need to crochet around the edge of our dishcloth. And for us to start to do the crochet around, you're going to chain 1. Whenever we did the row with the double crochet, we always chain 2 and then start that row. So here we have the chain 2. So what we're going to do to start off with, we're going to go on top of that. It's the chain. So this will be chain 1, and then this will be chain 2. So you put your first single crochet right there. Open that stitch, and this will be on the side of the chain 2. That when we started that row. Okay, so of course put your stitch marker there so it knows we're going to come back around. And where we want to put our next stitch is right here, and this will be for row 22. And for row 22, remember we only did the single crochet, and what we're trying to do is trying to put 23 single crochet in our edge, and then when we get to the end here, I'll show you what to do before we get up to this stitch right here where we first started. Okay, so I made it. I have 23 single crochet so far. I'm going to turn it because now we're going to work when we first started to do the first chain of our work. Now to shape out the corner to make it look nice, what we need to do right here, we're going to put 3 single crochet. So whenever you get to a corner, you're going to put 3 single crochet. So that's 1 in that same space for stitch, 2 and 3. So it shapes out the corner edge. Now what you need to do is for 21 times, because you can see nicely the stitches that we could work in, you could do that for 21 times, put 1 single crochet, and then when you get to here, this will be the 22nd stitch, you will put 3 double crochet. So go ahead and do that. So now we did that for this side, and we put 3 single crochet in our last stitch. So I went ahead and turned it because now we're going to work on the end of the rows like we did when we were doing the end of the rows here, and we didn't have the actual stitch to guide us. So you go ahead and you're going to put 23 single crochet, and of course this is the stitch marker when we had from the other side. So this is going to help us and to tell us that we're going to stop before there, because this will be the corner of our dishcloth. So here you're going to put in the 3 single crochet for that to make it curve nicely. So you need to do 23 single crochet before you get to that little stitch marker. So now we made it to where we actually have our single crochet for the end of row 23 that we did that could help us. So for 21 times, go ahead and put 1 single crochet in each of our stitch. Now we did that for 21 times with 1 single crochet. So we have that last stitch right here. And to shape out our last corner to do, we're going to put 2 single crochet in that stitch. So we place our 2 single crochet. So now what we need to do is to fasten off, and we're going to use the invisible fasten off. So you're just going to pull up a nice tail and cut it off, and then I'm going to grab my yarn needle and show you how we do that. So I cut off my yarn and I attach my yarn needle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our yarn needle, and you see where our stitch marker is at. We're going to go right there like we're doing another single crochet. We're just trying to make it look like we're doing another stitch. That's what we're trying to hide it, to make it look nice. It flows. Take my yarn needle, I'm going to turn it, and where our yarn is coming from, right here, that stitch, we go just to the back of it, just the back loop. First stitch, go through there, and then we're coming over. It's where that underneath is where our chain 1 was when we first turn our work to start working the corner. Turn it, and then we're going to hide our tail in the back of our work. Let's see how it looks. We're making it look like we put another stitch right there. So that's how we look so far in the front, but we still have to hide our tail that we have in the back. So we're just going to find stitches under our work, in the back of our work, and just hide our tail there and make it look nice. You feel it when you do it too, you see it. Okay, I did that. I think it feels nice. That's going to stay, and I didn't want to, although it's the back of my work, I still make it too bunchy, too tight there. So all that's left to do is to cut off that tail we have. Don't cut your work, and that's it. And then we have the other tail that we first started, so you could go ahead and tuck that in and take out our stitch marker, and that's it. That's it. We're all finished. And this is how we look, and this is my end of my last where I did the invisible join. So we look, and this is the back of our work, and we tuck in our ends. How we look. We did fabulous work, quick and easy little project to learn how to do the Alpine stitch. Thank you for watching. I had fun showing you how to make it, and I hope you had fun learning with me. Till next time, bye bye.